Hi guys, and welcome to our webinar today where we will be talking to Heidi Aldershaw. Heidi is our SkinPen National Trainer and Educator. Hi Heidi.
Hi Rena.
First and foremost, do you have your SkinPen to hand?
Always.
Fantastic. So Heidi, let's focus very much today on consultations and how we can explain to our current SkinPen users and to the wider audience how they can convert a consultation and taking it through to a sale, because we've had quite a few people get in touch with us saying that they're struggling a little bit with those consultation and inquiries and how they're not being able to convert it. I know you've got vast amounts of experience, so if you can just share your knowledge with us, that would be super. Thanks.
Yes, Rena. I often get asked how I can increase sales and how I can convert consultations, and really this starts with the front of house. So the reception staff need to be trained too in how they can tease and entice your patients to want to have consultation, to find out more information, more technical information from the practitioner themselves. So the receptionist must be able to excite the patients about the vitality and integrity that we can help improve in their skin with microneedling treatments. Then when I get to see a patient and discuss with them about what their concerns are on their needs, I start by listening to them about what they feel, how they feel their skin needs improvement. So this might be pigmentation and sun damage, it might need acne scarring or scarring from trauma, it might be open pores, it might be fine lines and wrinkles, it might be deeper lines and wrinkles, or just tired, dull, stressed looking skin, and all of those concerns are things that SkinPen can help with. So once I've addressed what their needs are, I might also listen to them talk about their lifestyle and their general health and well-being at the moment, because these extrinsic factors will affect the results. So I want to listen to them to start with, and then I'm going to customize my consultation, almost make it prescriptive to what I've listened to. And this would mean talking to them about what they can expect from the treatment. And for me, one of the big mistakes that clinics make when they do their consultations is they don't really stress the difference between short-term benefits and long-term benefits. So they are getting patients that have very high expectations after just one treatment, and they're sort of confusing the time scale on when somebody can see results. So I'm going to talk to them about short-term benefits which would happen during the inflammation and tissue proliferation phases. So this would be the first month after their treatment, and they can expect to have some exfoliation if their skin, especially if their skin is dehydrated. And what I really love with this treatment is you will only get that exfoliation and peeling if your skin is dry and it needs to shed, unlike chemical peel treatments which will force a shedding whether your skin needs to or not, which can potentially compromise your natural skin barrier and skin protection, which is there to help and save and protect us. So once we've gone through these short-term effects, which are a tightening, so as those wounds contract and the skin tightens up, the feeling is a tightening of the skin, which most patients love, a radiance in the skin as that dull, tight skin sheds and peels off. Because of angiogenesis, we're going to get more blood supply to the surface of the skin, delivering more nutrients, so we get a rosy glow and a shiny vitality to the skin. We're going to get this immature type 3 collagen. So these are all short-term benefits which people love, but they don't last forever. But as they subside, we're going to start to see the long-term benefits. So in maturation, where this immature type 3 collagen is going to mature, and it's going to increase the integrity of the skin, the scaffolding of the skin, and really help with volume and support. So the real long-term benefits take time. So it's very important that patients know that these short-term benefits won't last forever, but then the long-term benefits will really start to kick in. So if your patient came to you wanting these long-term benefits, they mustn't expect to see them in the first few weeks after the treatment. We all know how long it takes for cell turnover and skin rejuvenation. So really, this brings me to the key thing with this treatment, is to sell the treatment in courses of 3. A minimum of 3, and to get your patients to think and expect to see their results at the end of the course. So I always say to my patients, you'll adore the treatment and you'll adore the process of having the treatment, but don't judge the final results until typically a year down the road after your treatments. So yes, you'll love your skin tomorrow, and you'll love your skin at the end of this week, and then you'll love your skin at day 30, which is when I'd like to see you again. But the real long-term integrity in your skin is going to happen typically in 6 to 12 months time. And so once they recognize in their mind the difference between the short-term benefits and the long-term benefits, then they're not going to cancel their second appointment because they thought their first appointment wasn't effective.
And I suppose at the same time, sorry for interrupting, I suppose at the same time, the beauty with this treatment is that the long-term goal is what the investment is going into. I know from having SkinPen treatments myself, and I was an acne sufferer, that I started to see results very quickly. Within the first 4 to 5 days, the scar tissue was working its magic. And thereafter, after I had my 3-month, I had a 3-month course, I had 3 treatments, of course. It was only probably 6 months after that my skin was really beginning to blossom at its peak, maybe. So as a consumer myself, I can certainly reiterate what you've said there.
So time to break down scar tissue as well as fill up and regenerate with new skin. So that process takes time, but there's no denying that process generally is very nice, and there's very little downtime, and you do have this radiant healthy boost immediately after your treatment. So I know if I have a very important party I want to go to, then I want to do my treatment within a week of party, because I'm in this radiance and glow, this inflammation going into tissue proliferation phase, and I love that phase. But really this is an investment in your future. So what we're doing this year is to benefit our faces for next year. And remember, it's not faces that we're treating, it's deep neck, décolleté, backs of hands, scalp, stretch marks. The SkinPen treatment can be carried out anywhere.
The legs. We've seen a number of case studies, haven't we, through our customers who are utilising the device to treat their customers for all sorts of skin-related concerns. Okay.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Sorry, I was just going to ask you, how do you deal with patients who come to your clinic whereby they've got whereby there's a clinic down the road who are using an alternative device, and it's a lot cheaper? So in terms of so how do you deal with your customers who are talking about competition?
Absolutely, yeah. So everybody's starting to hear about the benefits of microneedling. The science and the proof is out there. So with that, there is a lot of cheaper devices that have been manufactured typically in China, and with them they've very, very cheap, because they've compromised on safety of the equipment and the patient. And so when people in other clinics are typically offering cheaper treatments, it's not normally with a SkinPen device, it's normally with a rival device, which typically may not have gone through the same standards that SkinPen's gone through. So one of the reasons that we are a market leader in the safety of microneedling is because of all the testing that the SkinPen's been through. So 3.5 years of testing did cost money, so that's why it's not a cheap treatment. But typically, if the clinic on the road is offering a cheaper treatment, they've got a cheaper device. And so the way I sort of raise the bar and set myself above them is that I say, a cheaper treatment will be with a cheaper device, and what price do you put on your health and safety? So just to remember, the risk with a cheaper device can be the risk of cross-contamination from bloodborne bacteria, which don't just harbour in the needle, they actually harbour in the pen itself, deep in the seams and the joins of the pen. So it's an area that can't be wiped down with an alcohol wipe. You actually need to have the system fully closed and fully sealed. So for me, I make sure that my patients are educated in the importance of safety and the risks with bloodborne bacteria such as HIV, hepatitis, and ongoing. I mean, it is a very, at the moment with the coronavirus, it's a very sensitive time. People are very concerned about viruses, and it's a good time to educate your patients on the risks of cross-contamination from device to device. So it's a very important time.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've got a great webinar coming up shortly, don't we? Later on today, we're going to try and do another webinar specifically talking about the device and the ultrasonically seal, and focusing very much so about
Could I just touch base on some of the other things apart from safety? Because we, like you say, we're going to address that later. But other things would be things like the quality of the needles in the actual cartridge head. So if you've got a cheaper treatment, it typically means the consumable costs are cheaper. So they've got cheaper needle heads, and cheaper needles are very quickly blunt needles, or they have little rips on the end. So when they go through the skin, typically 98,000 channels per minute, they are ripping and dragging the skin. They're not neatly pierced. And so with the wrong type of damage, if we remember, what's the problem with the wrong type of damage? It goes down the wrong inflammatory pathway, and we're at risk of making the wrong type of collagen, having a delayed recovery. So it's, with this treatment, it's all about making the right type of injury, but with minimal damage and a very fast recovery time, so that we get the right type of collagen, type 3 collagen, that matures to type 1 collagen. We don't want our body thinking that there's been such an injury that it needs to make scar tissue. And this is what happens when you get too much trauma to the skin.
Yeah, okay.
Another advantage with a more professional device, apart from the quality of the needles, would be the repetition rate and the consistency of the treatment. So we've all seen people that have had a bad microneedling experience where they have drags and bruises and grazes where the needles have caught on the skin, sometimes even coming off. I hear lots of stories of the needles coming off during the treatment itself, popping on the floor, and then the practitioner picking them up and putting them back on and carrying on. So it's really,
yeah, you've got to be so careful, don't you? And we've had so many customers call us over the last several years, actually, saying exactly the same, Heidi. They went with an alternative microneedling treatment, and they were left with X, Y, and Z concerns thereafter. So it is really, really important to make sure you're choosing the right treatment, which is being used with the right device.
Absolutely, and safety is paramount. Always has been, but now more than ever.
Yeah, okay. Well, Heidi, thank you so much for your time today. As we've said earlier, we are going to be focusing on some more webinars that we're looking to create later on today for our SkinPen users and the wider audience. But for now, I'd like to say thanks once again, and I hope everyone's enjoyed this webinar. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
and don't forget, everybody.
And of course, everybody, we've got a brand new strapline for 2020, which I'm going to let Heidi speak what it is. So the new strapline that we've got is
SkinPen Precision is the best decision for a safe incision.
Fantastic. Thanks, Heidi.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.